You tell me when, cool. I'm about to keep it real. I'm about to tell you the biggest mistakes that I have made because I'm wondering what mistakes have you made, top 5 business mistakes that I don't want you making, that I'm embarrassed to admit. But first I need to get caffeinated and then we're gonna have a real conversation. Okay, so let's chat about the number 1 business mistake that I made, and that I didn't ask questions. I was so afraid of what people were gonna think about me that I stopped myself from getting to know what I actually needed to know. When I think back to the questions I didn't ask, I would go to workshops and then I wouldn't ask the instructor things that I needed help with. When I started being a photographer and had the opportunity to second shoot, I wouldn't admit when I didn't know something or I didn't know how to ask for help. I was afraid that people would think less of me, that I wasn't capable. But at the end of the day, I look back and I think to myself, if I had asked questions, I would have grown faster and I would have accelerated at a faster pace. Both things that are imperatives to starting a new business. So if I can go back and do anything over again, I would ask so many questions, I would run out of them. So the second business mistake I made was that I waited too long to get a website. Now, I know it goes without saying, but some people are like, no, social media is where you build your business. And I agree, but I also agree and think you could do and should do both. Why? When I got a website, I was able to get referrals from industry peers because a website legitimized my industry presence. In addition to that, when I got a website, I had the ability to start working with higher end clients, which is where I wanted to position my brand. Okay. Oh yeah, that was loud. Okay. The third biggest mistake that I allowed in my business was that I let other people determine how I felt about my business. So let me explain. I know that this can happen in any industry. The thing that I started noticing was that on social media, I was looking at who people were hanging out with and what tools they were using in their business and how awesome it was that they just booked their like millionth client. And I kept on thinking to myself, well, I don't have as nice of gear. I don't have as nice of a computer. I'm not networking at the coolest events. I'm not having the ability to like name drop on social media about all the cool things I'm doing and all the cool people I'm hanging out with. Now, I don't think anybody was intentionally trying to make me feel bad. It was just that I kept on walking around in a perpetual state of, I suck. But it wasn't until I took control of my emotions and realized that I can't let anybody make me feel a certain way. I am in control of how I feel. Once I shifted from the perspective of I don't have their tools, I'm not hanging out with those people, I'm not going to those places, I haven't booked my millionth high-end client, I decided to say, what magic can I make with the tools that I have, with the people that I know, with people who believe in the thing that I'm doing? The minute I shifted my mindset from I'm not good enough, I'm not there, to I have all I need to be successful was the minute that everything changed for me. B-roll, get some droneage. The fourth biggest mistake that I made for my business was that I didn't make long-term decisions for my equipment. So here's a little bit of a story. I go into a photography store. Now, substitute the word photography for any industry that you're in. I walked into the store and I was given 2 options. So one was the low-end option and one was the high-end option. And I was making a decision for the business that I had that day instead of making a decision for the business that I wanted the next year. My husband, who's my business partner, was sitting next to me. He's like, I really think you need to get this one. I said, no, we don't have the money. We don't have the budget. I don't know if I'm worth it. Crazy. And instead, I bought the cheap option. 2 months later, I walked back into the same store and said, you know what? I didn't make the best investment. I need to buy equipment to get me where I want to go based on the faith and the ability for my business to succeed in the future. So what's the moral of the story? Invest where you want your business to go. The second moral of the story is always listen to your business partner. Should I do anything a little bit? So was I talking too fast? So let's talk about my last mistake, and that was risk, that ugly word. If I can go back and tell me of 2007 things to do differently, that would be to take bigger risks, to trust yourself, to embrace risk as part of the journey. But I'm gonna be real. Like, I know who I was in 2007. If I went back to me to tell me that, I wouldn't listen. So what I would do to that me is I would grab me by the shoulders and I would look me straight in the face. I say, girlfriend, life is so short not to pursue the thing that you want. Run towards your dreams and don't ever look back. If you can go back 10 years ago, I want to know, like, what would you tell that person? What would you go back 10 years and tell that person to believe, to know, to trust? I would love for you to leave it in the comments. What we hope this post turns into is people to read it, to believe it, to claim it, and then go and do it.